I want to give them credit. I want to give you credit for being early on this, because this team right after New Year's was 18-21 after that R.J. Barrett banked in 3. Since then, they are 29-7. That is a 66 win pace. So I want to give Wilds credit. I also would like to give credit to Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum took, I put Jayson Tatum firmly outside of the top 10, but firmly inside the top 20. He took that slight as motivation. You could learn something from that, by the way. Keenan Allen, who had a similar ranking, and just spent all weekend tweeting at me. You know how Jayson Tatum spent his weekend? Kicking ass, the way he's been all month. The month of March, Tatum has been a super-duper star. He's been 34 points a game on 54% shooting, 47% from 3, and 90% from the line. This month, he jumped his efficiencies across the board 10 points. So he's been great. The team's been excellent. The young coach who you halfway through the year, you're like, oh, boy, did they hire the wrong guy? Nope, he looks awesome. They have a problem, though, however, Broussard, and it is the same problem your beloved Nets or my beloved Sixers or anyone else has. The Bucks this year are a juggernaut, and no one seems to recognize it. The Bucks are not going to face a Game 7 in the East. I don't think they're going to face a Game 6 in the entire Eastern Conference playoffs. So I think the West is as wide open as you can get. I think the East is the opposite of wide open. I think the East is similar to the East when LeBron was in Miami or Michael was in Chicago. The East is not only is it going to go through one place, but you're not going to see a lot of, could this series be good? No, Milwaukee's going to dispose of everybody in 4 or 5. So I give the Celtics massive credit, but I give them very little chance of coming out of the East, but that takes away nothing from what they've done.
All right, unlike the West, where you guys know on Friday, I declared Phoenix is winning the West. In fact, I said they're winning the whole thing. I stand firmly by that. But, Nick, I disagree with you on the East. Now, I'm leaning to, I'm going to wait until, the playoffs, right before the playoffs, to make my Eastern prediction, because I'm doing my research, to use a Kyrie term, right? Yes. I'm doing my research. Yeah. But I'm with you on Milwaukee being the number 1 team in the East. And even though they haven't played tremendously, I think, like I'm sure you do, they've taken their foot off the gas, right? Kind of like LeBron did in Cleveland his second go-round. So I get that. All right, but to say, I don't think they're going to have that easy of a chance. Now, everybody else in the East has flaws. We'll talk about Philly and Brooklyn and Miami and all that. Boston, of course, I wouldn't put them above Milwaukee at this point, but I would give them a shot, and here's why. Even though their stars are young, Jayson Tatum's 24, Jaylen Brown's 25, they are tested. And that's the thing people are overlooking. They have played in the playoffs, both of them, 4 times. Both of them have been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals. Both of them have beaten Giannis and Chris Middleton together. Both of them have beaten Joel Embiid when he had Ben Simmons in the playoffs. So both of them have taken LeBron James to a Game 7 in the playoffs. There is not a team in the East that they're going to step on the floor with in the playoffs and be like, oh, man, that's Giannis. Like you mentioned Jordan and LeBron in the East, they had teams shook. We know LeBron, Toronto, a great season. Then they get on the court with LeBron and they don't know what to do. Boston will not be that way. They've got a scorer in Tatum who can get a shot whenever he wants to, can get it at every level. They are tough. And I want to shout out Ime Udoka. You mentioned him, the rookie coach for them, Nick. He is doing a tremendous job to step in there, Wilds, under Brad Stevens' shadow, who's still sitting there in the front office. Stevens did a great job coaching that team. Now he's in the front office. That's a tough situation. You start poorly. People are doubting you. He's made all the right moves and adjustments. If it weren't for Taylor Jenkins in Memphis, he'd probably be coach of the year. Maybe he'll still get some votes. But Wilds, I believe, Nick, I think they're a good team. Right now, I would have them second in the East to Milwaukee.
Listen,
and give them
I think they're a good team, a far better team than I gave them credit for. I did not see that they were going to play basically, this is equivalent of half a season at a mid-60 win pace. That's unbelievable. Wild said 31-9 since New Year. So that translates to 62-18 over the course of a full season with a couple games to go. And Wild's one of the reasons, because I had been saying before they skyrocketed up the standings, they would lose in round one. And what was my big reason? It was, well, they're not going to have the best player on the court. And sometimes it's as simple as that. I don't know if Jayson Tatum can keep this up. But if Jayson Tatum plays 90% as well in the playoffs as he has played in March, then they'll have the best player on the court against anyone other than Milwaukee and Brooklyn and maybe Philly, but Philly's a different question mark. Like, Tatum is playing like a superstar. Is he a superstar yet? Not in my eyes. Is he a top 10 guy? Not consensus, not yet in my eyes. But he has played like one for the last 6 weeks. And I got to give him credit. He has been phenomenal. So maybe he's taken the leap. Maybe it's a hot streak. If he's taking the leap, then Boston becomes a totally different animal in the postseason.
Walking up your MVP ladder, Jayson Tatum, get ready. Maybe later this week we'll get a little MVP ladder. The one thing about the Bucks, real quick, Jenna, I think it'll be interesting as the season closes on teams kind of like picking games and like, all right, let's flip the switch a little bit. Like, I thought this Thursday game, Bucks-Brooklyn, it'll be in Brooklyn, will be an interesting little playoff preview. But then I looked at the Bucks' schedule. Here's who the Bucks have their next 6 games. In Philadelphia, in Brooklyn, home against the Clippers, Dallas at home, at Chicago, and then Celtics, home and Celtics. Like, I don't know what, they could lose 5 of those games, 4 of those games. So I don't know if the Bucks are like ramping up and they're going to be in this weird thing. Are they getting momentum, or they are expending too much energy to start the playoffs? I think it's really something to watch. Let's see that. Something to watch.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.